Hey guys, it's Laurence here, and today I wanted to create a quick video that will help you out if you have been running cold emails, trying to get more sales calls on your calendar, but things have either stopped working or you've never been able to get them to work in the first place. And the reason being is a lot has changed in cold email. A lot has changed and nobody is really implementing what I'm calling the new way. Everybody's focused on the old way and it's not producing the results that most people are looking for. So what I thought I would do is walk you through at a high level and then go into detail about our structure, our strategy, our campaigns, so you can see what we're doing to generate roughly 150 sales calls every single month purely through cold email. So without further ado, let's jump in. So first thing we've got to look at is the structure. The more domains you have, the better your chances of succeeding are. I would recommend a minimum of 25 domains and 2 email addresses per domain. The reason that you're going to have better chances to succeed is for a couple of reasons. So first off, the more email addresses you have, the safer you are in terms of deliverability. You don't necessarily need to use every single email address that you own. And it's a bit like a sports team that has multiple players, but not all of them are on the pitch at the same time. Some are sat on the bench in case of an emergency, basically. And that's what we need to have as well. We need to have email addresses that we don't use that are ready to use in case something stops working. That's one of the main reasons that you want to have a lot of email addresses. The other reason is because it allows you to test quickly. If, for example, you want to test 5 different email copies and you've only got a few small number of email addresses, what's going to happen is it's going to take you a long time to be able to test all those different copies. Now, if you've got a lot of email addresses, you can test all those copies at the same time. And over a week period, you'll be able to figure out what that best email copy is, and you'll be able to move on and start testing other things and other things. So it allows you to get to your end destination a lot quicker because you have to test a lot more. And of course, with more email addresses, it also means more, sending volume as well. And obviously, a lot of people have already got that in place. Here's something that's really kind of changed over the months is the maintenance side of things. The email service providers like Outlook, like Gmail, like Hotmail, they've all become a lot stricter in terms of cold email, and landing in the inbox is harder. It's not necessarily harder to begin with, but to consistently land in the inbox time and time again is a lot harder. So what we've implemented in our business and all of our clients' businesses as well is a maintenance package where we're actually looking after the health of the email addresses and the domains. And so putting your email addresses inside something like Instantly and warming them up, unfortunately, is no longer good enough. We need more, basically. We need to be able to do more. We need to warm up not only the email address, but the domain. We need to warm up the link that we're sending out in our cold emails. We need to be able to warm up the cold email copy. What a lot of these email warm-up tools do is they will write AI-generated emails, and then they will send those emails to other people in the warm-up platform. What is way more beneficial is if you're actually able to send email copy and warm up the email copy that you're going to be using in your campaigns. So you're sending your actual campaigns out to warm up your email addresses. It's way more effective. It makes the deliverability of your actual campaigns way higher, which is ultimately why we're doing it in the first place. That's a big change that we've seen, and nobody's really kind of taking it too seriously or implementing it in their own business. So we have a system inside our business and our clients where if the health of their email address dips, then we have systems in place to be able to fix those issues so that deliverability remains high and we're able to keep that volume nice and high. That leads me on very nicely to the next stage, which is volume. We're contacting around 5,000 leads a week at the moment, and that's only possible through maintenance and the correct structure in the first place. And then we have the messaging. So what a lot of people are doing is they are using messaging that did once work, but now doesn't work as much. And the reason that it's not working as well is because your prospects have become fatigued. They've become immune to these cold, friendly, Alex Hormozy, $100 million offer style messages. And I'm not saying that it doesn't work still. It does, it works very well, but it's not quite enough. So we've coined something called the category of one offer. And what this does is it pairs a cold, friendly kind of Hormozy style offer with a unique mechanism. So no longer can you say, we'll get you these results and we guarantee that we'll get you these results, because your prospects have heard that or something very similar time and time again, and they become immune to it. And so they might have even tried working with an agency that's promised them the world and they've underdelivered and they've been burnt in the past. So the likelihood of them wanting to work with you for something similar is a lot less. That's why you need not only a kind of cold friendly offer, but you need to pair it with a unique mechanism. So why is what you do different to everything that they've had before, everything that your prospect has tried or used before? Because they have tried to make that journey, but they got lost along the way, basically. And so we need to position you not only as a great way to achieve their desired outcome, i.e. a cold, friendly offer, but we also need to add in a unique way of getting there. And that's what we call a category of one offer. And you need both of those things in place in order to not only entice and excite your prospects, but then give them the confidence that you're different to everybody else that they've ever seen or worked with before. And then once we've got that category of one offer, we then need to make sure that we deliver it in a very unique and compelling way. There's no point having this great offer, this great messaging, if nobody actually reads it or consumes it in the first place. So we need to make sure that when we're landing in the inbox, we're interrupting their pattern of thought. And when they're treating their inbox like a to-do list, they see our email and it stands out like a sore thumb. And we do that through personalization, whether it's copy, images, videos, doesn't really matter, but we're just trying to stand out to give ourselves the opportunity of having our message actually read. And once we've got that messaging in place, that leads us on to our funnel structure. What we don't want to do is send out, say, contact 5,000 leads a week and ask them to respond to our email, because that creates a lot of work, basically. Instead, what we want to do is get them to book directly onto the calendar. We don't want any back and forth. We don't want to be, having to persuade people through follow-up emails to get on a call. I mean, we do that, but that's not our goal. We don't want that to happen. 9 times out of 10, people will just book directly onto the calendar. That's the structure that we want. And you'll see these arrows here that go round and round. And this is basically a cycle here, a little ecosystem, a little feedback loop. And what we're doing here is we're looking to see, based off our category of one offer and our strategy, our level of personalization, is it generating the volume of calls that we want? And if it isn't, then we go back to the messaging side and we iterate and we try and improve so that we are getting the volume that we want. And if we are, then we move on. If we're not, we keep going round, we keep going round, we keep going round. That's the process that we need to take. And that's what we do with our clients. So we'll look at the funnel maths and we'll look at the messages and we might create a few different types of messages, a few different types of personalization, and we're going to test them. The only way that we can test them is by having the right structure in place. It all interlinks. You can't have one of these without the other. We'll wait and see what the booking rate looks like. And if it's not where we want it to be, we go back to the messaging and we just continually iterate. So if you're struggling right now to get sales calls, this is probably where you need to spend more of your time going backwards and forwards in the strategy and the messaging in order to get the right metrics. And I'll go on to what our metrics look like shortly. So once we've got that funnel structure in place, another new part to the process is all around trust. Because as I said, people get bombarded with your messages from competitors and trust is at an all-time low. We're in a bit of a trust recession right now. And if we can do things to increase that level of trust between when somebody books in a call and when the call takes place, that's going to make a few things happen. It's going to make your show rate increase. It's going to make the call itself be easier to close. It's going to decrease the sales cycle as well. And the way that we provide, or should I say increase trust, is by providing valuable content before the call. So whether that's pushing them to a video to watch that explains more about the business, whether that's your YouTube channel, whether that's client testimonials, whatever it is, we want to basically get them into our content ecosystem to increase the level of trust and let people know that you're a genuine person, you're not some fly-by-night scam artist, and you basically just want to do everything you possibly can to increase the trust. Let's now have a little look at the funnel maths. So we want to shoot between a 0.5 and a 1% appointment booking rate. So what this means is if we contacted, say, for example, 200 leads and one person booked in a call, we would have a 0.5% appointment booking rate. If 2 people booked in a call from 200 leads, then we'd have a 1% appointment booking rate. And even if you're at, say, a 0.25, a 0.3% appointment booking rate, it's not ideal, but you can grow a significant business based off the back of that. You can still book 100 sales calls every single month, which is more than enough for most people. So with a 0.5% to 1% appointment booking rate, with everything that I've kind of walked through, you should be looking to generate between 25 and 50 sales calls a week. With an 85% show rate, you should be getting between 21 to 42 live calls. Show rate, people always focus on the wrong thing when it comes to show rate. There's a couple of ways that you can increase the show rate. And obviously you can do things like make sure that your calendar isn't stretched too far in advance, make sure that you're sending them reminders, things like that. But ultimately it's not the reminders that make the difference between whether somebody shows up or they don't. It's whether they actually want to show up to the call. So that's the real thing. It's not about, do I send 2 text message reminders or 1 or 3? It's how do I make sure that they actually want to show up to the call in the first place? How do we do that? We do it through our messaging. If they're excited to find out how we can help them, then they're going to show up to the call. And we also do it through trust. If they genuinely believe that we're the right people to help them, then they're going to show up to the call. So it's not necessarily about doing the little tactics that make somebody show up to the call, and they can definitely help, but it's actually being the business that excites people and makes them want to speak with you. That's how you improve your show rate. And then you should be looking at like a 25% close rate. Could be a little bit lower, could be a little bit higher, depending on lots of different variables. But that's basically the funnel math. So if we zoom out, this is our structure. And this is what you're going to need to have in place if you're struggling to generate sales calls. There's a few things that you're probably missing. Generally, what we see is people are missing this maintenance piece. They haven't got the full structure in place. They haven't got a category of one offer. They're purely focusing on either their services or the outcome, and there's no unique mechanism involved. There's generally a lack of personalization, and there's not this trust that's being built after the call's booked in, but before the call takes place. This is what our system looks like. And if you want our help to install this very system inside your business so you can get similar results to this funnel math here, we can come into your business, build it all for you, do everything for you, operate it all for you on a pay on results basis. If you want to find out more about how all that works, the first link in the description, if you give that a click, it'll take you to a video, explains a little bit more about what we do and who we are. If you like the sound of it, book in a call and we will put calls on your calendar, all done for you, pay on results basis. If you're new to the channel, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, help the channel grow, and I will see you on the next one.